Raised a $2 million seed round, so congrats, and talk us through that.
When we had this idea late last year, we also had a few people sort of saying, hey, if you're thinking about getting investment in capital, like, we'd love to chat. And I was like, okay, we're going to try and bootstrap it, because at the time, we thought we could do this out of Journey, and that was our first sort of 4 or 5 months. The first 3 people I spoke to all offered up, I don't know, let's say 900K. Like, out of the first 3 meetings I had, we had 900K verbally committed. And I was like, holy shmokes, that's not what I was expecting. Even the first conversation, I was like, great, perfect. Very shocked. We then met the guys at Tidal Ventures, and they end up offering us 1.5 as part of the seed. And then we used the 500K we picked up from the other angels that we'd spoken to early on. So those investors were people like Guy Pearson from Ignition, Michael Wood from Receipt Bank, and Richard McLean from KeyPay. So people that have, lived it, breathed it, scaled it, sold it, or, one day probably will sell. So we're just, surrounded, supported by what I consider kind of accounting tech veterans, heavyweights, which has been awesome. And people we've worked with for a long time. Like, I've known Guy I've known all 3 of them for a long time. And it's good to have so much trust from them on such an early part of our journey. But that's final in a nutshell. We free beta, 1,000 users, raise capital. We're exhibiting at XeroCon next week for the first time. And overall, I would say things are going very well.